What's going on, everyone? And welcome back. It's been a minute since Double M had a show, but we are here. Double M is back with our wrestling edition. Myself, Mike Nice, joined by my brother, the EP, Cool Sam. We are here holding it down. And
Yes,
if you're
sir.
listening, you know it's WrestleMania season in the world of wrestling, especially WWE, because no other show right now is on WWE's level especially ever since Triple H took over. But it's WrestleMania season, Sam. Here we are. We made it.
Yes, we did. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah. You can't even lie. If you're a big wrestling fan, if you're a big WWE fan, especially if you're like me personally, like obviously, am I locked in, tuned in as much as I was as a child, as a teenager? No, I'm an adult. I got a life to live, bills to pay, a job to go to. But this is the time right now you tune in because obviously the biggest storylines are being put together. You never know what big title matches are going to happen. You never know what, superstars might return, what superstars might, show up. You never know what can happen in WrestleMania season because they're trying to build the biggest matches, the biggest storylines possible for the biggest show, of the year, and which is WrestleMania. So let's get right into it. It's 2023.
Mhm.
We're almost a week or so removed from the 2023 Royal Rumble. So let's just get right into a recap of that because Royal Rumble, really is the pay-per-view, the premium live event, whatever you want to call it now. Royal Rumble is the show that really says, okay, WrestleMania is around the corner.
Mhm.
And this Royal Rumble was huge because now you got a lot more stars aligned in terms of what to expect in Los Angeles for WrestleMania 2023. So let's get right into it, Sam. What were your thoughts about this year's edition of the Royal Rumble? Starting with they went right, they kicked off the show with the men's Royal Rumble.
Yep.
So
Which
let's get right there.
I like that a lot. I like that they started with the men's rumble because if we're gonna be completely honest with ourselves, ever since the women's Royal Rumble has come into fruition, they've always started with that match, or they've started with some other jobber match and waited to have the men's Rumble match at the beginning. So if you're a real wrestling fan, like you're waiting for that men's Royal Rumble, right? And there's usually a championship match too. So the 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 real meat of the pay per view is always at the end. So you kind of get restless. This time they said, nope, we want y'all locked in right from the beginning, and they had the men's Royal Rumble. If that Rumble taught us anything, Gunta is real.
That's
He
my
is real.
guy.
Remember, I told you I don't know where this Nazi looking came from. I tell you what, he's sorry. He's real. He's real. People need to take him seriously.
Ring general, bro.
The ring general. You know what I'm saying? He's real. Came in at number one, lasted to the very end. And I'm telling you, if he was going up against anybody other than Cody Rhodes, he would have won the damn thing because that's how real he is. I love this push that they're having for Gunther. He's already the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like putting the belt on him and then elevating his stature is going to elevate that Intercontinental Championship, hopefully to the levels that it used to be in back in the Attitude Era. That belt used to hold a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like if you weren't the WWE Heavyweight Champion, the Intercontinental Champion wasn't too far behind. That was a prestigious title. So
Agreed.
you know, and it hopefully that'll further elevate the belt to its 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 old glory. Now, my only problem with the men's rumble was that anyone who has kept up with wrestling and followed along, we all knew who was gonna win the rumble. We knew it. It was written out for us. It was probably the most predictable thing that Triple H has done as head of creative since he's taken over. But it wasn't his fault because Cody had to win. He had to. It was written in the stars. The
Yeah.
only the only other person that people were speculating could have won the Rumble because of the way the storylines ended up playing out was Sami Zayn. But the way the pay per view was rolled out, it wouldn't have made any sense for Sammy to win it because we didn't know what was going to happen at the end of the night.
Hmm.
If if you know if that happened at the beginning of the night, if the champ um if Roman versus KO was like the first match of the night and all that happened, and then the men's rumble was the last match of the night, and then Sammy made some miraculous return and he was like the number 30 entry and won it all. That's a story. That's a story we could run with. It was like, okay. But
Nah, Cody had to win. Like Cody had to win the Royal Rumble. The way he's been built up since he returned and everything he was saying, Cody had to win the Royal Rumble. He needed to be the one standing on the top rope, pointing at the sign, pyrotechnics going off. It had to be Cody Rhodes. My only issue with the situation was they should have kept it a surprise of him returning. I get it. They wanted to spend the last couple of weeks hyping up his, recovery and him putting in work and him, back to lifting weights and training and all that. I get it. The hype videos make for good TV and make for a nice little story, but you have the return videos and whatnot versus the surprise entrance. Granted, either way, Cody Rhodes got a pop because fans went crazy. Fans are behind Cody Rhodes and everything he stands for right now. But it's WWE. There's nothing like a surprise return. I think
mhm,
a surprise return always can get one of, if not the biggest crowd reactions, you know, ever. And obviously, fans know Cody Rhodes been out for a while, and the anticipation, the rumors would have been there. Is Cody coming back for the Rumble? He's been out for 6, 7, whatever months. Cody's probably going to come back for the Rumble, but WWE should have just kept quiet about the situation. In my opinion, number 30, his music drops. It would have been WrestleMania last year all over again, in my opinion. Yeah, was there rumors and hype and speculation that Cody Rhodes was going to be Seth Rollins' opponent? Yeah, but WWE didn't say anything, and that pop at WrestleMania in 2022 was crazy. I think you could have had the same type of situation in the Royal Rumble. That's my only, gripe with the situation, but it was the right call. It couldn't have been Sami Zayn. I know some people saying, well, maybe it could be Seth Rollins. Nah. I know Gunther is getting all the hype right now as with his run, but Cody Rhodes, and we've talked about this on shows we've done in the past. Cody Rhodes is the guy right now that needs to main event WrestleMania.
mhm, mhm. And I think he further solidified that with his post Rumble press conference. I don't know if you ended up watching it.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that.
It was a great press conference because he brought up the fact that he openly admitted that Triple H shouldn't have been a fan of his.
Hmm.
Triple H shouldn't have welcomed him back to WWE with open arms because of everything that transpired ever since Cody left WWE.
Yep.
He brought up, you know, putting a sledgehammer to the throne, which is a direct diss to Triple H. He brought up all the slick talking and sneak dissing that he did toward WWE and especially Triple H. But then he also brought up that story that when he was really struggling in WWE with his Stardust role, that he felt like he was getting no respect and it was a dumb gimmick. Triple H was one person that gave him some advice and told him to, rattle the cages, aka, shake ish up, like make yourself known. Don't just sit there and be complacent. Like go out there and make a name for yourself. Like make people see you, right? And it worked for him. He went out and did that again. He really did it outside of WWE, deciding to leave and go make a name for himself outside of the WWE. But when he came back 100 times better,
Sure did.
and he related that all back to Triple H. So I think between him doing it for his dad, the fact that Dusty was never WWE champion, and the fact that he's carrying on the family legacy, the fact that now this is going to be, the fact that he even talked about his theme music, how the first thing you hear is how wrestling has more than one royal family,
Hmm.
and now his championship match at WrestleMania, the main event, is going to be the heir apparent from one wrestling royal family against another heir apparent from another royal wrestling family. So it's like when you put all that together, there really wasn't another choice. And
Not at all.
as big as a fan of the tribal chief that I am, and Mike, you know how we feel about this Roman. The,
He's different. He's definitely different.
this is one of the best homemade characters WWE's had in the last 30 years.
Agreed. No argument for me.
He's going to drop that title to Cody at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
He's going to drop that title. The only question now is if they're going to split them belts up or if they just going to combine it into one belt, or if when Cody wins, he's going to bring back that winged eagle belt, which would be kind of like a flashback moment to when he was dashing Cody Rhodes and he won the Intercontinental Championship, and then he brought back the old white belt,
Mm.
and because he wanted to restore it back to his glory. So him doing that after winning the Universal Championship and bringing another classic title back would be a great flashback, long storytelling moment if it was to happen at WrestleMania. So the cards were dope.
Nah, I hear you 100%. Like we just both agree, Cody was the only option to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. And what he said in terms of there's more than one royal family in wrestling. He ain't lying about that. His father's name holds a lot of weight, whether it be in WWE and other companies outside of WWE. His father's name is synonymous with wrestling. And then across the ring from him, you know what that Samoan bloodline is all about. In any promotion they've been in over the years, that family is well known. So WWE has a great storyline to build, and we've known this ever since Cody returned. That when they choose to go this route and start building towards this storyline, it was gonna write itself. Now, obviously, within the story, the chapters have to be written that leads up to the match. And one thing I read earlier from I feel it was Bleacher Report. It had an article from somebody talking about how, okay, the story's here. Oh no, obviously you have the main event coming of Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Roman solidified. Like his character don't need to take no other steps. His character doesn't need to evolve anymore. Like what Roman's been doing the past how many years? 2.5, maybe 3, whatever it's been at this point. Roman's character is solidified for sure. Cody, on the other end, now that he's back, now that he's wrestling, he's at full strength. He's going to be on television. He's going to be on Raw. Maybe he's going to pop up on SmackDown to further the storyline. Whatever the case may be, with that match being the main event, whether it's night 1 or night 2, whatever the case is, some believe that Cody, or that article I was reading believes that Cody needs to somehow elevate his character to match Roman Reigns. Like, obviously, Cody has a lot of hype right now from the fans. But in terms of the character, what kind of character development are we going to see from him that can stand across the ring and really pose a threat to the tribal chief? Because let's be honest, Roman Reigns has faced a lot of great challengers since he's had the belt. Like, And the list of names goes on. But Cody Rhodes, while he does have the great story, what is he gonna bring to the ring that can really have people looking at him like, okay, this man poses a threat to the head of the table? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think what Cody has going for him is his story. You know, he's the prodigal son returned home. You know, spent 6 years away, helped create a whole new wrestling promotion, right? But ultimately, there was something missing. And what was missing was that success that he always yearned for in the biggest wrestling promotion in the world, which is WWE. What was also missing was feeling like he could finally get out of his father's shadow. And I'm sorry, he couldn't do that in AEW.
Sure couldn't.
Yeah, was he one of the executive producers? Yeah. Was he one of the founders? Yeah. But was AEW ever going to be on the level of WWE where he could say that I did this and, you know, have people not look at him as Dusty's son anymore? He's just Cody Rhodes. Because AEW, I'm sorry, it just feels like AEW's kind of peaked already,
Yeah,
right?
I
And it,
hear
it
that.
just hasn't hit that worldwide stage. It hasn't, I don't think it's enticed old wrestling fans enough, right? People like the old heads that when they see AEW on TV, they're probably like, oh, there go Dusty Son on television. Good for him. And keep on clicking away. See what else is on TV because they don't have that cachet yet. Cody winning a world championship in WWE is a story that no other competitor that Roman has felt has had, right? So you have his backstory with his father, the fact that they both have royal families that have long wrestling lineages, right? Then you also have the fact that Cody still feels like he has a lot to prove, right? Because you know there's always going to be people that said Cody picked up his ball and ran when he couldn't cut it in WWE the first time. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that still have doubts about him. There's going to be a lot of people that still look at him in the back. I don't care what nobody says. I know there's wrestlers in that locker room in the back that are giving Cody that side eye because, you know, a couple years ago, he was talking ish about the company
Very
and then
true.
they welcomed him back in with open arms. But now look, less than 2 years after being back in WWE, he's headlining WrestleMania. Think about all the wrestlers that have been in WWE this whole time and haven't sniffed a title shot ever, ever. Not even. I'm not even talking about WrestleMania. I'm talking about ever, and he's getting one at WrestleMania, arguably the biggest WrestleMania because it's going to be at Hollywood, right? And then also you have this notion that the Roman Empire has to fall eventually.
A matter of time. It's a matter of time.
We knew it was going to happen, right? And the timing couldn't be better because of all the friction that's currently going on within the bloodline, right? So you have the hungriest wrestler in WWE right now going up against the champion in what many people would consider his most fragile state. So if there's a time for Roman to be had, to be caught slipping, to be seen as vulnerable, it's right now. Cody has his prime picking of a not completely focused Roman Reigns.
You everything you're saying makes 100% sense, especially with the fact that no matter what great faction there has been in the history of wrestling, you know, they all fall. It's a part of the storytelling that happens in the business. So the bloodline's time has to come eventually. And while we've all been watching for years now and enjoying the ride absolutely week after week, there has to come a time where the empire has to fall and somebody has to do it. And yeah, it seems like Cody is the best option. Um, and I do have a major prediction of what WrestleMania is going to look like for the Bloodline, but I'm going to get back to that in a second. I want to talk about a couple of the other storylines that are taking place within the company right now. You get from the men's Royal Rumble, you move over to the women's Royal Rumble that saw Rhea Ripley emerge victorious. And I mean, I guess people are saying, a lot of people who tune are saying that both winners of the men and women's Royal Rumble was very predictable this year. And while it was predictable, people were happy because it's like the people that won the Royal Rumble, the fans were actually behind. You got Cody Rhodes, a fan favorite. He deserved to win it with his story. You got Rhea Ripley on the other end. Obviously, Charlotte Flair is not in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, Bianca Belair is not in the Royal Rumble. Who's the next most dominant female in WWE right now? Yeah, could you have made a case for Bayley? Sure. Could you have made a case for Becky Lynch? Sure. But Rhea Ripley, especially a couple years ago, where she lost the Royal Rumble in the end with Bianca Belair, I believe, they were the last two. So many felt as if she deserved her opportunity, and the way she's been dominant, especially the resurgence of the Judgment Day storyline and the Judgment Day faction on Monday nights, Rhea Ripley was the best option, and I think she definitely deserved it. Now, I don't really want to go too in depth with the women's Royal Rumble because I don't think there was nothing too exciting about it, in my personal opinion. But what I found more interesting was her choice of opponent for WrestleMania coming up in April. Her choosing Charlotte Flair was not what I expected at all. And I especially say this because I feel like I read an article not too long ago where Rhea Ripley said that she feels that, if I'm quoting the article correctly, she says something along the lines of she feels that her and Bianca could be like the next Stone Cold and Rock in terms of a storyline that they can build within the WWE. So I read that article. I said, I can see that. Bianca's had a great rise since she's been in the company. Rhea's been kind of up and down, but everything she's been doing with the Judgment Day and whatnot, like I said, a resurgence for the group and her character. Her winning the Royal Rumble, I thought that would be a perfect time to kickstart both of them in their relatively still young careers on the grandest stage of them all. But then she chooses Charlotte because I guess she wants revenge. What are your thoughts and feelings on that?
Well, I'm with you. I'm with you in terms of I initially thought she would have picked Bianca. I still wish she picked Bianca. I think that's the match we all can agree we wanted to see. But when you really think about it, I think she had to choose Charlotte, not because of the whole revenge factor. I mean, that's a good storyline to use. But in all reality, if we're thinking about the current women's SmackDown roster, what other true competitors are there for Charlotte's belt? Right? Becky's on Raw. Bayley's on Raw. Um, Ronda Rousey's in the wind because she disappears after she loses her belt. We don't know when we're going to see her again. Who else is a legitimate competitor? I feel like SmackDown has a lot of returning superstars that came back and a lot of brought up NXT superstars.
Yep.
But there's no one even remotely close to Charlotte's level on the SmackDown women's roster. So they needed someone to go up against her. Again, Raw has Becky, Raw has Bayley, Raw still has Alexa Bliss, and then Raw has Bianca. So Bianca has her choice of suitors to go after that belt. Charlotte didn't have anybody really. Like, there's no, what was going to be, Raquel Rodriguez? They're not going to put the title on her yet.
Like,
Raquel great. Raquel great. Got nice back muscles. Do that thing with the flip. Yeah, that really good. Shoulder blades. Shoulder blades. Who else you got? Shotzi? Like,
nah, SmackDown's kind of weak. I ain't gonna lie in terms of
you're
women's
not
roster.
gonna put it on Shotzi. There's Emma. Like that's not gonna happen. Carmella's back, but I don't even know what brand she's on. But even then, like none of those women can compare to Charlotte.
Yeah,
And what we don't need is another long title reign of Charlotte where she's going up against people that aren't in her league and she's making women tap in 4 minute matches. That's not fun. We don't want to see that. Now her and Rhea, that's gonna be a dogfight.
okay, I could see that.
That's gonna be an actual dogfight. And now, if Rhea should win, which I hope she does, now you have someone else that's a legitimate competitor on the SmackDown roster. So that's why it took me a while to realize why they must have did that. I'm just working on some stuff. I'm gonna hit you back in a little bit. Hell
What
no.
happens when you recording live? Recording
You know what
live.
I'm saying? We working on some stuff. No, you good. You good.
That's what
Yeah,
happens when you recording live. You never know what can happen on Double M.
you know what I'm saying? No. Where am I to go? Where am I? Class. Oh, class. I ain't in no class. I'm recording. Your podcast. Yeah.
You have a podcast?
Yeah.
Share it with me.
Got you.
EP Sam is the coolest guy out there. I tell you, everybody want to talk to him.
Where am I to go? Home? I'll hit you when I get out.
Ah.
Might need a drink or so. Yep.
I tell you what.
I tell you, live recordings are always fun. Sorry, for anybody who don't know, I'm
we
a
know
school
how it goes.
right? That's why you see all these kids' names in the background. I'm a school teacher by day. Double M, we record wherever, whenever. So, I'm still at school right now recording.
Got to do what you got to do.
Guess we just gained some new fans. So
I heard that. She said send her the link. So
God bless.
hey, nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, I hear you though. I mean, what you're saying makes sense, and I maybe didn't think about it like that. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, SmackDown has a very weak women's roster right now. You just listed the names on Raw, the Baileys, the Becky Lynches, the Oscars, the Alexa Bliss. Like they have women over there. And with SmackDown, now that Ronda Rousey's disappeared, the next woman up is Shayna Baszler. I think Natty just came back.
And that's the thing. Shayna Baszler, who I would love to see be a champion.
They don't trust her. They don't trust her in the main event picture like that.
They're not going to put.
Or they don't want her there.
And she's one of the most dominant women champions from NXT in history. She was breaking women's arms on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, she's a solid competitor, but obviously WWE doesn't view her as someone to hold the main title. So yeah, SmackDown is very weak. So you bring, in a sense, or you have Rhea Ripley take on Charlotte, which I agree with you. At this time around, I don't see Rhea Ripley at this stage of her career losing again to Charlotte. And even if Charlotte takes the loss, everything that Rhea Ripley said on Monday Night Raw this past Monday was true. Like, no matter what happens with Charlotte, she's always going to find herself in the main event picture, in the title scene. Like, she's going to be there for the most part. So I don't even think a loss to Rhea Ripley would hurt Charlotte. I think she'd be just fine. All it would do would just elevate another female into the main event status,
I think
which doesn't hurt anybody.
No, it doesn't. I think they could have a real long-standing feud for a few months. I think incorporating the Judgment Day into their feud. I think maybe Charlotte brings her dad back to the show as her back up whenever the Judgment Day is out there. You know,
What's he supposed to do? Fight
I,
Finn Balor?
I don't know. I tell you what, you know, what would be a great plot twist if 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 El Idolo, Mr. Andrade, came back to WWE to support his
Oh,
wife. You know, in terms of
oh,
being in her corner whenever Rhea has the Judgment Day out. Because from all accounts, from what I heard, he don't like what he's doing over in AEW.
a couple guys that don't sound like they like what's happening over there,
They're
but
trying to get the hell up out of there. You know, and
me say
not
that
a,
for another show.
I tell you, Triple H in charge. People starting to see maybe the grass was greener the whole time.
But I mean, here's what I'll say though, because yes, the women's SmackDown Championship match seems to be set. Who is now worthy enough to challenge Bianca? Because she's faced Becky several times now. She's faced Bailey a few times now. I don't think Oscar deserves to be in that spot. They
Um,
tried to do something with Alexa Bliss and it just wasn't happening unless she really goes through this transformation and she
and
lines with.
that's what she needs to do.
But who really can stand against Bianca Belair in a title match at WrestleMania? I don't know who on the roster. If Rhea's already going the Charlotte route, who else is there that hasn't faced Bianca before that would make for a great story and make for a great match?
So if I'm in WWE, and I don't know if they've already, well, I so there's a women's match set up for Elimination Chamber, right? And I
To
think
figure out who's facing her or she in the match.
to figure out who's facing her at
Okay.
WrestleMania. So in the match, there's four women have already qualified. It's the last four women that were in the Rumble, and I believe that was um
Let me see if I could pull it up somewhere.
it was Oscar, it was it was Oscar. I think it's Oscar. I think it's what's her name? Um Liv
Rochelle
Morgan,
Rodriguez.
Rochelle Rodriguez, Liv Morgan. It was Oscar one of them. I know Liv Morgan was. I know Raquel Rodriguez is another one. I can't remember who the other two that automatically got it. And then the other two are gonna be figured out on SmackDown with like Fatal Four matches. If it was me, I would have just made Elimination Chamber a championship match. Right?
Okay.
I would have just did that, right? Put Bianca in there, right? It's Raw. That's the Raw Women's Championship. Look at the talent you have on Raw. You put Becky in there. You put Bailey in there. You already have Bianca in there. You put Oscar in there. You put Alexa Bliss in there, and then you could throw her the last person. You can make that like a what they're gonna do on SmackDown. Just have a fatal four way for whoever that last spot could be, whether it be a Carmella, whether it be a Dewdrop, or I think her name is. They changed her name, I think, to
I didn't know who
something.
that girl was. I ain't gonna hold you. That used to be Dewdrop, that girl. That
The more husky of the women there. Yeah,
yes, that
that
used
used,
to be Dewdrop.
that used to be Dewdrop.
Okay.
He has another. There's even a Lacey Evans who's trying to be rebranded for the fourth time in a year. Um, who else? There's really options there. You know, actually, you know what? You know who you really could have put as the last person? You could have skipped everything else. You could have put the returning Nia Jackson there. Now that's an elimination chamber.
I forgot about Nia Jax. That could be a possible
If they put her
opponent
on SmackDown, there's another viable, competitor for the belt.
for
Because
Bianca.
Nia Jax has the potential to have one of the best storylines in the WWE right now because it's so evident and so clear that she is hated by every other woman in that locker
Yeah, I think her versus Bianca would make a hell of a match too. Because right now, especially you saw how they build her up in the Royal Roman match. Like she was the most dominant female in the match. It took all 6, 7, 8 women in there to try to throw over the
room.
top rope. So now you set that up with her as what's they call the irresistible force,
Yep.
versus Bianca, who's probably seen as the most powerful female on the roster. I could see that being a match. That's something that'll draw my attention at WrestleMania with the right storyline behind it for sure.
I would watch that.
I would
I
watch
think
that.
that would be hell. That's two powerhouses. Not Nia Jax coming back after being let go with all the heat on her.
Mhm.
Everybody saying they don't want to work with her because all she does is injure people and she has a terrible, nasty attitude. And then 2 months from being back, she's at WrestleMania.
That might be the biggest thing.
Ooh,
That might be the
ooh,
perfect opponent for Bianca, if we're being honest.
that would
Um,
be some spicy spice. Imagine her winning.
She wouldn't win. She wouldn't win. No Triple H and the way WWE business, they put in a match, she wouldn't win because they're gonna be like, yeah, you're not gonna play us like you did when you left the company and think you're gonna come back and win a match at WrestleMania. But at least she'd pose the best possible
A
threat.
real threat.
She'd pose a
She'll
threat.
beat Bianca up. She'll lose, but Bianca will beat her up.
Yeah.
She'll get yeah.
Even the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, she just spent the next couple of Raws beating
Just beat.
Bianca's ass.
She just beat anybody up.
Yeah, yeah. I think that poses a good threat, but I like that. So the next storyline, or it's not really storyline yet, but obviously the WWE has to figure out something to do with this character. And he's going to play a part in WrestleMania. We just don't know yet, but obviously they got to do something with him because they've invested way too much time since his return. And that is Bray Wyatt.
Ah.
Bray Wyatt, it's been a in my opinion a roller coaster ride since he's returned. Like obviously he has all the hype because he's the closest thing to the Undertaker that WWE's had, in years, with his all the smoke and mirrors and different things happening behind him. Like he's the closest thing they've had to the dead man. The storyline with LA Knight was, I guess it was a way to somewhat reintroduce him, but it was nothing special. And me personally, let me make sure this is clear on this podcast right now. I am a LA Knight fan.
Yes, you are.
I am an LA Knight guy, and I know it's not going to be this year, but that guy needs to be in some title pictures down the line, intercontinental, US. He got to have some major storylines because that guy got it.
He
got it. He got what it takes. But obviously, right now it's Bray Wyatt's time, and like I was saying, his storyline with LA Knight was so. I guess it was more so to reintroduce him, but their match at Royal Rumble was nothing special, in my opinion.
No.
But either way, that storyline seems like it's over with. But obviously, there's still questions in terms of this whole Uncle Howdy situation and whatnot. And we haven't gotten answers in weeks and weeks and months since he's returned. We've got teasers and hints and this and that and a lot of nonsense. Something got to come to light for real at WrestleMania or in the weeks leading up, because you can't put all this hype behind Bray Wyatt and the things he's doing, and then you get to WrestleMania and it's another situation like the Royal Rumble where they hype this match or a match and it's just average or nothing special at all. What do you think they can do with Bray Wyatt to make his character seem like it has some importance?
Well, if I'm Triple H, I'm you just finishing up some work. You know, that's all we
Everybody
doing.
checking in on the boy.
You know what I'm saying? Gotta do some work. Got some couple people here burning the midnight oil. But If I'm WWE, first thing I'm doing is like I'm I'm releasing the names of this whole Bray Wyatt family. Like we've been doing this for months. We don't know who Uncle Howdy is. We don't know. It's time for the storyline to really begin.
Something gotta happen, man. Like, come
Who
on.
the hell is Uncle Howdy? Bray, what are you here to do? We know before you were the destroyer of worlds. You was trying to take over. You had the whole world in your hand. You was trying to take over. You trying to be the supreme ruler of everybody. You know what I'm saying? You was on some Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff, just walking up out of ponds and stuff, just destroying stuff. We understood that. Who is this new guy? Who's this new version of you, right? Because physically, he looks like a monster. He's
Yep.
bigger now. He looks stronger. Like that whole pitch black thing, the paint that he had, it's cool. But what is your story? What are you back to reclaim your old glory? Are you an elevated version? Have you evolved from the Bray Wyatt that you were before you left the company? Who was part of this new, you know, Bray Wyatt family? Is people have been speculating that they think Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy. That's what I've been hearing. If so, let it be known. Like this Uncle Howdy thing, we still don't know if he's part of your team or not. One minute he's fighting people for you, the other minute he's fighting you. One minute Uncle Howdy's a separate character, another minute you're saying that you are Uncle Howdy. It's like
It's too much. It's too much.
it's all over the place. It seems like it has no direction. This Alexa thing, it's like y'all keep playing mind games with her. Like if she's gonna turn, let her turn. Let her go all the way dark and
Just join the faction.
just give her a run. Look what it did for Rhea Ripley. We said for a long time Rhea Ripley would be the perfect person to join the Judgment Day. It happened. Things took off for her.
Very much so.
Let Alexa just be completely dark and let's start the storyline. Let's see what y'all are here to do. That's it. And I mean the fans are holding on to dear life because we wanted Bray Wyatt so bad. But y'all aren't giving us Bray Wyatt. He's been back for what 4 or 5 months and he's had one match.
Yeah.
One match. And if that's because it took him that long to, you know, get back in ring shape and, you know, and play out his gimmick and be able to perform at a high level, I understand that. But now you got a match under your belt. You got a win under your belt. You just finished the storyline. They need to keep up the momentum. Because if they don't have a bombshell story for him soon, people are just going to be like, all right, well, you can put him back on the shelf.
Hey, here's what it is. Pull the trigger on this right here. Road to WrestleMania. Pull the trigger. Bray Wyatt needs to be facing Karrion Kross at WrestleMania. Pull the trigger. That's the storyline. These are the two guys who, they want to play with the darkness, all mystical bullshit. Like, come on now. Pull the trigger. Bray Wyatt, Karrion Kross. I want to see hourglasses. I want to see weird mask. I want to see all the type of nonsense. And then I feel like they put up together a hell of a match. I ain't going to hold you.
Hell yeah.
I think they put an amazing match in the ring.
Slobbing. And then having Dark Alexa Bliss and Scarlett stare down each other.
It works out. It works out. WWE pull that trigger.
That might turn me on just a little bit.
Pull the trigger. That's the match. I'm telling you. I don't know who else.
I'd watch. I really, really would watch. And it would have to be like, make it a special kind of match. But nothing like, not no dark match where we can barely see what's going on. Like, make it a casket match. Make it a
good old Buried Alive.
Buried Alive Inferno match.
Something. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Buried Alive match because Karrion Kross is all about your time's running out. Your time has come, this and that. You want to bury Bray Wyatt alive. Bray Wyatt's all about eat all worlds, about to end your world, this and that. Buried Alive match. I think that would be perfect for them
to do it.
and especially with them two and their characters, you know, taking it back to old school, Kane and Undertaker had matches for years and years and years to come. Undertaker and Mankind had matches for years. Like Bray Wyatt and Karrion Kross does not have to be no one-off type of storyline.
Nope.
That can be something that lasts for a while.
Find out who the new Lord of Chaos and Darkness is.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I think that's the match.
Love it. I love it. You know there's no bigger Karrion Kross guy than me.
I like Karrion Kross is that guy. I like
he's for real. I've been praising Karrion Kross since his NXT championship run. That man knows how to inflict pain.
Yeah, he was a force. The couple times I tuned into NXT, that guy was running the show over there, just running through people.
Bro, just choking people out and just elbows to the back of the neck. Lights out. See you later.
Yeah, Karrion Kross. I want them to utilize him more, and I want them to utilize LA Knight more. Those are two guys that I really want to see take off this year.
LA Knight's great. I can see him getting into feuds with like Dolph Ziggler. Who else do I think he might have some good runs with? Maybe an Elias.
He can hold his own on the mic. That's the best part.
You know what? You know who I think he'd have a great feud with? Seth Rollins.
He can hold his own on the mic for sure.
Because of the mic skills. I think he could really he could pull on some strings for Seth Rollins, really get him going.
I wouldn't mind seeing. I need to see LA Knight take a step in 2023. I think he got it. I think he got what you're looking for.
I'm with you.
All right. Let's get to it. Last segment we about to have here on this WWE edition of Double M. The major storyline it's had a stranglehold on the WWE universe for the last year and a half, 2 years almost. And we saw it really hit what we call it the climax at the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn finally turned on the tribal chief. He didn't necessarily turn on the bloodline because, you know, Jey Uso's his boy. When Jimmy Uso was his boy, but Jimmy Uso, you know, didn't waste no time super kicking that dude in the jaw.
Wow.
But Sami Zayn finally, you know, wanted to step up to stop the massacre happening to Kevin Owens. And he turned on Roman Reigns by taking a chair to his back. And now nobody knows what's next. Because, Sam, I tell you, there's some people out there arguing or pleading for the idea of it be Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns for the title. There's some people out there that, you know, obviously want to see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens reunite and take the titles off of the Usos. But for those people, I don't know how you can have that argument right now where you saw how Jey Uso reacted to the whole situation. I don't know. Right now, again, bravo to Triple H and his whole creative team, because they got people sitting on the edge of their seats with this bloodline storyline, and people can't wait to tune in. We're filming this podcast right now on February 1st, Wednesday. People can't wait to tune into, you know, Friday the 3rd of February to find out what is the next chapter in this bloodline Sami Zayn storyline. But I tell you, like I said, bravo to Triple H. Bravo to the creative team, because this is probably one of the best storylines WWE's had. It'll go down in history as one of their best storylines ever.
I'm pissed.
You didn't want him to turn, bro? What you mean you pissed?
I'm pissed. And it's funny because I had this argument with a couple fellas the other day. And they were saying that, you know, Sami Zayn did the right thing by turning on Roman. And I had to tell them respectfully to shut the hell up.
Want to watch this boy get massacred, bro?
Excuse me. Lest us not forget where Sami Zayn was before the bloodline saved his career. Yeah, like y'all must have not been listening to what Roman. uh, First and foremost, let us please give Roman his flowers for the way he has treated this Sami Zayn situation. I'm telling the way he was screaming, the pain that you seen in that man's eyes. He said, this man doesn't love you. He's used you your whole career. I love you. I made you my family. And you hit him in the back with a chair, giving him old Shield Seth Rollins betrayal vibes.
Sure did.
That's low. That's low. Listen, what it if you listen closely, when Roman was getting into Sammy's face about hitting KO with the chair, he said, "You're either with us or you're against us. If you don't want to do this, you can go back to doing jackass shit." People, people don't even peep what that means. They're probably thinking like, "Oh, he's calling Sammy a jackass." No. Yep. Yep. The last memorable thing Sami Zayn did was have a feud with Johnny Knoxville.
Ooh, Roman.
Where he's getting beat up by big mechanical pranks in the middle of a ring because he's so low on the wrestling totem pole that they can't find him a legitimate person to wrestle.
Roman slick for that one. Okay. I didn't catch that.
See? You see? That's what Roman did. He saved him from that. He saved him for that. When was the last time Sami Zayn ever main evented a pay-per-view?
Never.
At NXT? NXT,
yeah,
maybe?
Probably, yeah.
That man has not main evented a pay-per-view, I think, in the entirety of his career. And if he did, it was. Has Sami Zayn ever been in an elimination chamber? I feel like he hasn't. I don't remember one.
Can't recall at all.
But if he was, that was probably his best bet at being at a main event. But even that doesn't count because that's 6 guys. That's 6 guys. Sometimes you just need to fill up a spot and you just end up being in there. But you had no real chance at winning. If he was in it, he was probably the first one out. Roman had that man in main events on pay-per-views, premium live events. He saved
that man out of obscurity.
Obscurity. He was a running joke. And that's how you would pay him. And the worst thing about it, you know that betrayal is not just betraying Roman. Jimmy used to stand up for you when Jay ain't trust you.
Yep.
Roman stood up for you when Jay ain't trust you. The wise man, the special counsel, stuck up for you when Jay ain't trust you. They all stuck up for you, and then you betrayed. And then, when they put your ass on trial, Jay sticks up for you before Solo puts a thumb in your throat like Umaga. He's about to kill him.
But you see what happened though? After as soon as he hit Roman, he didn't look at nobody else.
Yeah, looks straight at Jay and says, "I'm sorry, I couldn't do it."
Because he know he hurt Jay the most with that move. But it was Roman was yelling at him, pushing him in his face. He couldn't take it no more. He couldn't take it no more. 1. And then 2, as all the beef that him and Kevin Owens has had, that's his brother, his fellow Canadian brother that they handcuffed and destroyed.
So here's the thing that gets me tight. Now he's your brother.
He got compassion in his heart, Sam.
No. Now he's your brother.
He got
Mike.
Compassion in his heart.
Mike, were we not at Survivor Series, Mike?
Yes, we were. We were
We
up
were,
in
at,
them Survivor City stands. Yep, yep.
we were in the stands together, me, you, and your brother. Did we not watch the main event of that pay per view?
Look, Sammy was just.
I'm asking you questions, Mike.
We watched it. Sammy was doing what he had to do to get in good with the bloodline, bro.
Excuse me. And how did he do that?
Gave that man a low blow.
Low blow. A low blow. And then what? Because he wasn't done there, was he?
Nope. He gave him a low blow. Then he kicked him in the jaw with the halua kick, whatever it was.
Knocked his head off.
Yeah.
And then to make things even better, served him up to Jey Uso like a Thanksgiving plate and said, finish the job. Right?
He had
And
to
then
do what he had to do, Sam.
You want to front like it hurt you to do that? What happened as soon as the match was over? Who celebrated the most in there?
Sammy did.
Sammy. Sammy. So, you wasn't all hurt when you was jumping around the ring, all happy as hell, right? You wasn't all sad and stuff when you climbed on top of the war games cage and was telling people this is the bloodline show. This is what we do. Having the crowd scream your name. You wasn't crying over KO then.
What Sammy
but now all of a sudden you got some kind of conscience, huh?
No. See, what happened was Sammy felt that Survivor Series moment solidified his spot. He didn't think he had to prove himself anymore. That Survivor Series spot was a spot that he helped not just the Usos or not just Solo and not just Roman. He helped the whole bloodline win the whole damn thing. And in the weeks following that, you got Roman and the wise men questioning his moves and his motives and his action. Constantly got to get questioned. You got to get put on trial. You got Roman Reigns saying, "Don't show your face around here." Like, guy got compassion.
Can I ask you a question? Did Sammy guarantee a victory over John Cena and Kevin Owens?
He did, but he know Roman.
Did Romans guarantee a victory over KO and John Cena?
No, Sammy did.
Sammy did it, right? Yeah. Roman, the tribal chief, Mount Rushmore wrestling, the GOAT. He didn't even do that. But Sammy took it upon himself to guarantee a victory and then got pinned.
So that means...
And then got pinned. Do you know that Roman had not lost a match where, in terms, like outside of a disqualification, he had not lost a match at all in any capacity outside of DQs and stuff in over 2 years. In over 2 years, somebody counted 3 in a match that Roman was involved with, and he was on the losing side because Sami Zayn did not hold up his end of the bargain. You the one that guaranteed we was going to win. It was your job to bring that to life, and you failed. Why am I the bad guy for bringing up your obvious downfall, your obvious shortcoming?
Listen,
right? Is that not what leaders are supposed to do?
I hear you, but
isn't that what leaders tell you? Don't go off that unless you're about to deliver.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Sami Zayn is no Roman Reigns. Like, we know that, we get that. He tried to guarantee his victory, call a shot like Roman Reigns did. Roman Reigns does, and he came up short. But at the end of the day, like I said, Sami Zayn is no Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns obviously took that really personal. He called a shot. He tried to be like him, and he failed. I get it. But, again, when you got a man that has worked tirelessly, like everything that Jey Uso showed during that trial, you got a man who's worked tirelessly to show his devotion and his loyalty to this family. And the fact that he still had to get questioned and still to get put on trial, like, it hurt. You know he was hurt. And then you fast forward all the way to that Royal Rumble match. Not only is he hurt, The one guy now Sammy's in this hurt state. And the one guy who's been trying to tell you, like, yo, at the end of the day, you got to realize these boys ain't your family. Now, the one guy who's maybe somewhat trying to be on your side that you've been against this whole time, you're watching him get destroyed. And now you got Roman Reigns, who's already hurt your feelings, pushing you in the face, telling you you will go back to being nothing if you don't like. It's a lot boiled up. So Sammy just made a decision. Like I said, he turned to Jay immediately and apologized. But you know, he reached his boiling point at that moment in time, and he had to do what he had to do. Now the question is, what does their road to WrestleMania look like? Because obviously, this bloodline story is not going to end, or this bloodline story is going to continue to WrestleMania. Now, we still don't necessarily know what that looks like, but somewhere along the way, I believe, while Jay is upset now that the bloodline destroyed Sammy the way that they did, Jay will come to his senses and understand, look, at the end of the day, that's my blood. At the end of the day, my brother and I are the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. So as much as I love Sammy and he respects Sammy, whatever the case is, he gonna roll with his family. And we will see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos with the titles on the line. And I tell you this, Sam, the bloodline falls at WrestleMania and loses all the gold. All the gold is coming off the bloodline at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is losing. I don't know. We don't know yet if Roman Reigns is going to wrestle two different opponents or whatever it is. If they just stick with a Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes match, Cody Rhodes is winning that match and taking the belt off Roman. If what I predict and what many people predict will be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos, they're taking the belts off the Usos. Everybody's championship reign is coming to an end at WrestleMania. That's my bold prediction.
Well, I respectfully say your position. Even though I believe you're right, I still stand by what I said. I think WWE has to be careful though, because I think the way they roll out this Usos versus Sami Zayn and KO match is going to be very, very detrimental to the success of this overall storyline, right? Because we already have the fact that Jay walked out on the rest of the family when they were beating up KO and Sami, right? So there's already dissension there. We can't pretend like it's not there. We saw it with our own 2 eyes. They've been building it up. So the way they're going to have to connect it, right, and make the audience feel like, damn, Jay really doesn't want to have to do this because Sammy is somebody he considers a brother now. We're going to have to see that inner turmoil like play out on TV. We're going to need to see Jay really struggle with the thought of having to fight Sammy. But we're also going to have to see him ultimately make the choice to, still hold down the bloodline. KO and Sammy win? Maybe. I'm not as sure about them winning as I am about Roman losing, unfortunately. Only because, again, I think that just so happens to be one of those dynasty storylines that you just cannot deny. I don't think there's been like a more surefire, clear-cut, obvious decision to make somebody a champion since what year was that Daniel Bryan Batista thing?
I don't know, maybe
15?
2015, 14.
So whenever that was, that's the last time I have personally felt the kind of pressure and heat to make somebody a champion. That's the last time I felt that kind of heat because it really just feel like not only does Cody have to win, but for all extents purposes, he should win anyway. Like it's there for him. Like he was made for this exact moment.
Yeah.
So I, I don't think there's much more else to do. It seems like it's really already written in the stars.
No. WWE is lucky to have right now their main event pretty much written, and it's been written for a year or so now. All they need to do is just add the right pieces to the story to just make it continue to make it more interesting to the audience. But in terms of their main event, they've had it now. Obviously, they wanted, possibly to have The Rock mixed in there, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen, at least not this year, which is very unfortunate. But
Nope.
the thing with that match, again, like I think a lot of people have known for a while, Roman Reigns doesn't need to have the belt on him to have a match against The Rock. That could still be a very big match with no title involved. So all you got to do is hope that they both stay healthy. Obviously, you see The Rock, he tries to stay in amazing shape. Um, Roman Reigns is still, I think, going to have his tribal chief head of the table storyline without the belt. He just has to have solid opponents along the way. And I think that's a match that can still happen, similar to when The Rock faced Hulk Hogan back in 2002 or whatever it was at that WrestleMania. No belt was involved. That was just a match about, the past versus the present. That's how they built that match again. I believe. I guess again with this potential match with The Rock and Roman Reigns, if and when it does happen, it's just pretty much who's the head of the table, who's the most important in the Samoan bloodline or whatever you want to call it. So that'll be interesting to see. But for the most part, Triple H is lucky to have the majority of WrestleMania coming up in April of this year pretty much written out. Again, now just adding the solid pieces to the story to make all of the matches interesting. Obviously, you want to know what kind of surprises will happen, what wrestlers might come back and have a WrestleMania match, all that different type of stuff that goes into it. But it remains to be seen. All we do know, Sam, is we are currently on the road to WrestleMania right now.
Yes, we are. And I think it's going to be one of the best roads we've ever taken. WWE has the opportunity to make this the biggest WrestleMania ever. It's already going to be in Hollywood. I think Logan Paul should have a match. He continues to impress whenever he gets into a WWE ring. So, fine. You could put him and Ricochet as the opening match at WrestleMania because that little spot they did together got the internet buzzing. Just put him in a match. Just put him in a match. They'll do that flippy stuff. There'll be a whole lot of gymnastics in the ring. Boom. That's
Facts.
it. It'd be great. It'd be great.
We'll
I
see.
think they're really in a good position to deliver a hell of a show.
Yeah.
There is plenty of material there to carry us this next few months on the path to WrestleMania. You this Brock and Bobby thing.
Ooh,
That's still not over because they
they
keep
gotta
they
have
keep
a
beating
third
each
match.
other's asses.
They have to have a third match. Yeah, they do. And we're gonna see if he reunites with the bloodline. I mean, not the bloodline. Sorry, the Hurt Business to take out Brock. That could be an interesting wrinkle in the story for sure.
I would love that. Is what are we gonna do with Edge in Judgment Day? How much longer is he gonna chase them around? There's gonna have to be a match in WrestleMania about that at some point.
Yeah, there's still a couple things that have to be decided, but obviously they know what they want to do with their main belt. They already have the pieces in place for the Intercontinental and the U.S. title, I believe. The women's title matches, at least the SmackDown women's title matches, decided. Got to figure out what's going to happen with the Raw. But like I said, I think Triple H has shown right now over the last several months that he has a good grasp on what he wants to do, what the fans like, and what he think will be the best stories being told. So we just have to watch and see. Obviously we have the Elimination Chamber coming up in between.
Mhm.
But again, it's still the road to WrestleMania, and things will start to become a lot more clear with the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to Hollywood.
Hollywood, baby. Hollywood.
So
City of Lights.
yeah, you know what it is once again when you see myself and Sam holding down one of these wrestling editions of Double M. Uh, make sure you stay tuned because I definitely feel as if when we get much closer to WrestleMania, we will have a show to talk about our predictions and whatnot for the the biggest show of them all, which will be WrestleMania coming up in April. So keep it locked. Double M has a lot more things popping off in terms of shows. Stay
Mhm.
tuned to Sam, myself, our brother Marv, our brother Tex, our sister Kiki.
What up, Ski?
Shout out to Mellow and Warm Media for sure. It's all one
Hello,
big family.
hello.
All one big family for sure. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Cause it's Double M to the moon. Sam, we signing out.
We out of here. Remember, it's
Appreciate
cool.
y'all.
Don't forget, it's cool to like wrestling again, guys. You
Oh
don't
yeah.
need to hide anymore.
We out of here. See y'all soon.